I'd like to start this talk off by putting down some tobacco, saying a prayer for our Mother Earth today and for all of us, and in particular our children and our grandchildren, because things aren't looking good right now. This is why we're here today, right? Yeah. Because shit is fucked up. Yeah. So we're here to talk about it. Shit is fucked up. Yeah. So I'm here today to put some tobacco down so we can start praying and thinking about what we can do to make things better. Yeah.
Gathering together today because there are a bunch of the fat cats from all over the country who are trying to make a lot of money on this carbon pipeline scheme are getting together for a conference. We're here to tell them what we want, which is real solutions to climate injustice and the climate crisis. Here today at this rally is Iowa CCI Action, Des Moines Black Liberation Movement, Iowa Migrant Movement for Justice, Great Plains Action Society, Sierra Club Beyond Coal, Sunrise Movement, Food and Water Watch, Science and Environmental Health Network, Iowa Farmers Union, all are part of Buffalo Rebellion, which is a coalition of organizations. We're all proud to stand together.
We find it to be a false climate solution, greenwashing at its finest, and something to transport hazardous waste all about our communities and our rural areas. They're passing dangerously close to indigenous communities. There's no free, prior, and informed consent as required by the United Nations UN DRIP, the Declaration of Rights of Indigenous Peoples. Just the danger and volatility of this unknown, unproven technology. You know, it's very different than petroleum pipelines, which may leak or seep. They actually blow up and explode from ductile fractures and shrapnel flying and a very dense fog of CO2 gas. Having never built a pipeline before, they have absolutely no experience in this field. When we're trying to think of who we should trust with the future of Iowa and Iowa's future generations, probably not the folks like Bruce Ratz that are using the perverse incentive of the federal 45Q tax credit and the California low carbon fuel standard in order to prolong the ethanol industry, which they're heavily vested in. And then also, as Navigator claims, being a common carrier, providing CO2 to these CAFOs in order to mass kill off confined animals. Shady false solution to climate change, and the people are being bamboozled. People of Iowa, sovereign nations along the path, and the future generations deserve better.
Get out! Navigator! Get out! Whoa! Get out! Summit! Get out! Navigator! Whoa!
It makes sense to people that can't imagine doing things in a non-capitalist way. People want to do more of the same to solve the problem. What we actually need to do is rematriate prairie, rematriate forests, make our soils healthy again, and get the carbon back in the ground the way it should be.
At first, CO2 pipeline sounded like a really good thing. You know, you're taking carbon out of the air, you're putting it in the ground. That's good, right? Wrong. The pipelines are supposed to catch CO2 from ethanol plants, from coal plants, ship it in a almost liquid state through the ground to be sequestered in different places: Iowa, Minnesota, Illinois, the Dakotas, and Nebraska. What the CO2 pipelines companies want to do, which are Summit, Navigator, and Wolf, what they want to do is use these CO2 pipelines to lower, air quotes, lower their emissions and continue doing business as usual. Business as usual is killing our land.
Fuck that!
There are so many other options, and this has greed written all over it. Yeah. This is not a real climate solution. It's time for us to band together and stand up against these things. There's no reason for a CO2 pipeline and about 1,000 reasons to fight them.
No more coal, no more oil. Keep that carbon in the soil. No more coal.
I want to talk about what hasn't been happening in terms of organizing around these CO2 pipelines. talking to BIPOC and migrant communities about how they will affect them. And 98% of agricultural land in this country is owned by white people, so those conversations have largely been with white landowners in Iowa. And that's not a bad thing, right? Of course, we can't help that that's, white landowners. I mean, that's just how it is. Colonization did that, right? That means that the people that have been activated, the people that are considered important in fighting these pipelines because we want to close some eminent domain laws, are seen as the important people, the people with a voice. Is that okay? That ain't right. No, it's not. It's not okay, because that means we're just perpetuating the same bullshit from, back in the day, right? So a lot of these pipelines are going to be going by black communities, migrant communities, indigenous nations, indigenous communities. So right by Fort Dodge, right by the flats, the pipelines are going to go through migrant communities.
I'm just so tired of the places that I love being destroyed. When are we going to stop and think about what really matters?
It's going to take freaking 50 times the amount of people that are here. 50 times that in order to get, the powers that be that are supporting this greenwashed colonial capitalist bullshit to get them to stop. Activate every single person in your networks. If everybody here does, we can make a difference. Hi, Kitata Mahin. Make some noise for Sakala!
We're going to bring up our last